I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived.
Let the love I've shed speak for me. Let the love I've shed speak for me. When I come to the end of this road, and I lay down my heavy load, let the love I've shed speak for me.
Let the work I've done speak for me. Let the work I've done speak for me. When I come to the end of this road, and I lay down my heavy load, let the work I've done speak for me.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Community Church of New York Unitarian Universalist. My name is Karishma Gottfried, and I have the joy of serving here as your intern minister. I have a question for you all today. Do you feel like every moment of every day you are living your life deliberately? How about most moments or even most days? Do you wish you were living your life more deliberately? As we sit here in this season of remembrance, it's a good moment to reflect on how we live. This month calls us to think about the lives that have come before us. Our ancestors, our mentors, and even those who came before us in spirit, those who made sacrifices, faced struggles, and showed us what it looks like to live life deliberately. How are we honoring them? Are we carrying their torch forward? Are we living lives that matter? As we gather in this sacred space, made sacred by our presence, we gather to remember and reflect. We honor those who came before us, whose lives and choices shaped who we are today. As we enter this time of worship, may we remember that how we live today shapes the world we leave for tomorrow. And please join me in singing our opening hymn, Just as Long as I Have Breath, found in your program and number 6 in the Gray Hymnal.
As all UU liturgy does, we begin with fire. together, let's recite our chalice lighting. We light the chalice, the fire that guides and unites our church, kindling the flame of love that burns at the center of our faith. Our unison affirmation is our statement of faith. We have been reciting it in this church for well over 100 years. And so please together, let us offer our unison affirmation. Unto the Church Universal, which is the depository of all ancient wisdom and the school of all modern thought, which recognizes in all prophets a harmony, in all scriptures a unity, and through all dispensations a continuity, which abjures all that separates and divides, and always magnifies humanity and peace, which seeks truth in freedom, justice in love, and individual discipline in social duty, and which shall make of all persons one beloved community, unto this church and unto all its members, known and unknown throughout the world, we pledge the allegiance of our hands and hearts. Together, we share in this ritual of greeting. We say hello, we give each other a hug and a kiss, and we don't do it just because we're happy to see each other. We do it because at the center of our faith, we are relational. Our shared spiritual path is only makes sense in relationship to each other. And so, as part of this tradition, every Sunday we turn to our neighbor, we turn to the stranger, and we say, it is good to be in this space with you. And so please, greet your neighbor. As we find our way back to our seats, we're going to sing the children to their classes.
All right. You're welcome to have a seat. Now is the time in our service when we reflect on the moment. This is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, which some in our community celebrate, but not all. Some of our folks are gathered here with us, but I suspect you may be noticing folks who are not with us. Maybe they're traveling. This is affectionately called the holiday season, a season of holidays that for some brings joy and lighthearted feelings. For others, it brings maybe a bit of sadness or an awareness of others who are not with us. For some, it brings excitement for gifts. For others, it might bring a bit of melancholy for gifts yet ungiven. Our days get shorter. Our nights get longer. And the weather grows cold. You may have on your mind others whom you know, for whom short days, long nights, and cold weather are difficult circumstances. You may have on your mind issues unresolved, a year coming to an end, or a year yet to begin. In this spirit, we enter a time of reflection and prayer that begins with the sound of a chime. Let us pray. Spirit of life, Mother of earth, God of the sun and stars, as our days grow short, our nights grow long, winter comes, and with it the cold and the whispers of memory. Grant us now your warmth and comfort, that we might hold your peace and become your peacemakers in a time of war and fear. Grant us the peace that passes all understanding and ease our troubled minds. Spirit of life, Mother of earth, God of the sun and stars, all is not well in your world. Your children cry, they work, they die, they spread fear and mistrust. Hold us now in our struggles, our pains, our great difficulties, as well as in our little inconveniences. Remember us and remember our strife. Hold our kindred, burdened by war, poverty, and oppression, and remind us that in you none are ever forgotten. Spirit of life, Mother of earth, God of the sun and stars, in stillness we find you, the light of our world. Be the strength we need to care for one another, not despite our difficulties, but because of them. Give us the wisdom to give out of our abundance, and the desire to lift our neighbors who are in need of our blessing. For we know that where charity and love are, there you are as well. Spirit of life, Mother of earth, God of the sun and the stars. As you are the firelight that burns at the center of our faith, may we be for others a light in this world as well, a shelter from the storm, a flame that flickers but is not extinguished. All are invited now in the spirit of hope and love and community to please join us in lighting a candle for your own intentions. May these May these candles be for us a sign of the fire that burns within each and every one of us, which has in its source the Mother of Earth, God of the sun and stars. May it be so. Amen.
Our reading today comes to us from Audre Lorde. It is called A Litany for Survival. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge in the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways coming and going in the hours between dawns, looking inward and outward at once before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures, like bread in children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who were imprinted with fear like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk, for by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hoped to silence us. For all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid it might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid it might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid we may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive.
Go out and tell our story, let it echo far and wide, make them hear you, make them hear you. How justice was our battle, and justice was denied, make them hear you. Make them hear you. And say to those who blame us for the way we chose to fight, that sometimes there are battles which are more than black or white. And I could not put down my sword when justice was my right. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Go out and tell the story to your daughters and your sons. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. And tell them in our struggles we were not the only ones. Make them hear you. Make them hear you. Your sword can be a sermon or the power of the pen. Teach every child to raise his voice, and then, my brothers, then will justice be demanded by a million righteous men. Make them hear you. When they hear you, I'll be near you.
The first time I led a worship service, I was in high school. We were on a youth retreat in the middle of the woods in southern Washington. And I was about to lead the group in a peaceful, guided meditation. As I invited the gathered participants to close or soften their eyes and relax their bodies, I climbed onto a bench to get a better vantage point and let my calming voice project over the meditating teens. As I began the visualization, I shifted my weight, and suddenly I was on the ground. My foot had caught between two benches, and I had gone tumbling forward into the dirt. Needless to say, it was not the peaceful meditation I had envisioned. And for weeks after, every time I looked down at the purple mottled bruise on my leg, I was reminded of that moment. I know accidents happen. Everyone trips and falls, right? But I couldn't shake the feeling that maybe the universe was trying to tell me something. You're not meant to be here, it whispered in my ear. And I know that sounds dramatic, but again, I was like 17. And I think we all get those moments, right? The moments when you're doing something you feel passionate about, and then something happens. Something that makes you question everything. You start thinking, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. But the bruise faded, and I moved on. I practiced my meditation leading skills and my balancing skills. I started writing my own reflections for youth worship services and even tried my hand at song leading. I started thinking that maybe I could do this after all. And the summer before my junior year of high school, I attended a program in Chicago hosted by the Unitarian Universalist Association, a week-long summer seminary to introduce curious teens to the world of UU ministry. We had spent the week learning about the lives of religious professionals, about the struggles and joys of those who lead and serve in our faith. And while we covered a lot of important topics, somehow the what to do if you trip over a chair during worship didn't make the syllabus. And of course, that was exactly what then happened to me. So I was trying to navigate through the tight circle of chairs during our closing worship that week. And as luck would have it, I tripped. The world seemed to slow down as I tried to regain my balance, but it was too late. I went down right in front of everyone. And again, I heard that familiar voice. What are you doing here? You are only going to get hurt. It wasn't just the falls. Worship, I've learned, can be deeply vulnerable. An act of offering yourself, your heart, your energy, and wondering if anyone will receive it. And there's something painful in that. It's not just about physical bruises. It's also about the emotional bruises that come from putting yourself out there and wondering if you belong. The most painful moment of all came one afternoon during a circle worship service I was leading at a youth conference in Canada. I had put so much thought and heart into this particular service, only to have one of my participants fall asleep. And not just a little doze, but full-on snoring. It was so loud that I had to walk over and shake them awake and try to salvage the moment. And as I stood there, everyone burst into laughter. They weren't laughing at me, but at the absurdity of the situation. But I stood there and thought to myself, is this what I've spent my life preparing for? I'd poured my heart into this ritual, sharing something deeply personal, only to have the room dissolve into giggles. That was the moment I really questioned, am I meant to be here? Because it doesn't just hurt when you fall physically. It hurts when you give of yourself, your heart and your soul, and feel that it doesn't land. I know this happens to all of us, in one form or another. We've all had those moments when we fear that we don't belong, where we question our place in the world. And if I'm being honest, it's easy to get caught up in those doubts. But here's the thing. The universe might be right. I'm really not meant to be here. And yet, I'm here. And you're here. I think about our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors, those bold souls who refused to settle for dogma, who built a tradition rooted in open-hearted inquiry and a deep commitment to justice. Imagine what they would think if they walked into one of our services today. They'd see a female senior minister giving out cornbread and cider one week, and a young queer intern preaching about bruises the next. They'd see a Catholic chaplain telling stories with his children playing in the pews, and a multiracial, multi-talented choir singing hymns one moment and Broadway musicals the next. Could they ever have imagined such a church? I don't know. And yet, this is our church. This is the faith that they built. And it leaves room for people like us to be here and offer something of ourselves. We name transformation as one of our core values, but we haven't always been the most welcoming of change. I was recently reminded of the story of Olympia Brown, the first woman to be ordained as a Universalist minister. Olympia was passionate about ministry, but when she applied to seminary, she was rejected at first simply because of her gender. It was a time when women weren't allowed to become ministers, especially in our tradition, which was struggling to reconcile liberal ideas with the deeply ingrained cultural norms of the time. But Olympia, as determined and stubborn as any true trailblazer, refused to give up. In 1861, she convinced the president of St. Lawrence University to admit her to the theological school. And at the time, it was unheard of for women to attend divinity school. In her autobiography, she recalls the conversation she had with President Ebenezer Fisher. He admitted her, but not without making it clear that he didn't think women should be called to the ministry. Yet despite his personal reservations, he allowed her to study there. But that was only half the battle. During her time at seminary, Olympia was subjected to cruel mockery. Male classmates would gather outside her window and repeat her sermons in a high-pitched feminine voice, ridiculing her and undermining the seriousness of her call to ministry. Imagine that. She was trying to live out her faith and her call, answering a call that was deep and real. And in response, the world laughed. To be ridiculed in this way, especially by those who shared the same vocation, the same ideals, must have been devastating. But Olympia, ever persistent, didn't allow their mockery to silence her. She knew her worth. She knew her calling. She knew that the laughter outside her window, as hurtful as it was, didn't define her or her ministry. Instead, it became the very fuel that propelled her forward. When I think about that image, those students outside her window, mocking her words in that high-pitched voice, I think about how often we too face ridicule and resistance when we step into spaces we aren't supposed to belong. Whether it's from the world outside or even from our own inner voices, there are moments when the universe seems to echo that voice of doubt. You're not meant to be here. And yet, just as Olympia did, we must keep going. We must keep showing up, not because it's easy, not because the world always welcomes us, but because we know in our hearts that we belong in this space, that our voices matter, that our call is real. What strikes me so deeply in this moment of Olympia's story is the way she responded to the mockery. She didn't let it define her. She didn't let the world's laughter silence her. And in many ways, she reminds us of the ways we are called to show up, even when the world may mock us or doubt us or even try to shut us down. Whether it's leading worship or simply living our lives with authenticity and purpose, we are all met with resistance at times. But when we stand in our truth, when we claim the space that is ours despite the ridicule or doubts, we embody the spirit of resilience that Olympia Brown so powerfully modeled for us. Audre Lorde reminds us that when we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it is better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. And let's be clear, speaking, especially in the face of resistance, is often deeply painful. It's vulnerable. And as Lorde said, we were never meant to survive. The world often tells us that we're not meant to survive the process of speaking out, whether it's speaking our truth about our identities, our beliefs, or our callings. When we speak, we take the risk of being rejected, misunderstood, or ridiculed. But when we stay silent, the fear remains. So it's better to speak. It's better to speak even when the world around us says you are not meant to be here, just as the world said to Olympia. to speak even when others mock or dismiss us, to speak even when we feel the fear that Audre Lorde names. Because in the end, we were never meant to survive in silence. We were meant to speak, to claim our voices, to claim our place in this world, and invite others to do the same. We are Unitarian Universalists. We believe in the power of speaking truth to power, to speaking truth and justice, even when it feels like the world doesn't want to hear it. We believe in the sacredness of each voice, especially those voices that have been silenced for far too long. We believe that every person, no matter who they are or what they've been told about their worth, is called to speak, to lead, and to shape the world in the image of love and justice. So I ask you today, what is your truth? What is the voice within you that has been stifled? The one that you've been too afraid to let out? It might be the fear of rejection or the fear of ridicule that holds you back. It might be the fear of not belonging. It might be the fear of getting hurt. But remember, when we remain silent, we still carry that fear with us. And I believe we were never meant to survive in silence. In closing, let us remember Olympia Brown, who claimed her voice even when it was mocked. Let us remember Audre Lorde, who taught us that speaking even in fear is a revolutionary act. And let us remember each of us here today. We are meant to speak deliberately, to claim our space, and to bend the arc of justice. As we go forth from this place today, may we continue to speak out, to listen deeply to each other's voices, and to make this world a more just and loving place by the simple act of speaking up and showing our truth. Blessed be.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way that words do when they settle beneath your skin. Kept on the inside, no sunlight, sometimes the shadows win. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave with what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. I just wanna see you. I wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave, wanna see you.
As we close out our service this afternoon, please join me in singing our chalice extinguishing. We send our light out into the world everywhere that hope and healing are needed. And as our service comes to a close, our service to the world has only just begun. Go in peace.